Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Jeff again. Mark is behind the camera.
Good morning.
Hey, this is day 4. We're draining the oil today and the transaxle fluid. So we've already started here. We've got the forward plug removed. I've got it in my hand here. I can show you here. Here's the new seal and everything. There is a difference on sides, okay? One side will be square, another one will have like a little chamfer to it. It's hard to tell, but the chamfer side goes towards your plug here. So you want to put that down, and the flat side goes towards the engine case. And then here's our old one that we removed. You can see it's well used. I think it's been used more than once. It's not even flat anymore. So like I said, we're changing that. And then we're going over here. And this also takes a 12 millimeter. This is 12 millimeter.
It's a hex, yes.
Yeah, hex. It goes in this forward hole right here. All right. That's where it goes. And then the rear one here is a 14. It's got a crush washer also. We'll remove that once the other one gets done draining.
It's loose, and that's why it's seeping a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and remove those at this time.
And the side screen, Jeff.
And then, oh yeah, the side screen, we're going to take this out. These are 10s. We'll pull this out, make sure there's no debris on it. Make sure there's no holes in the screen. I've seen these with holes in them. So if they have a hole in it, they're useless. So you want to change it out if it's got a hole in it. But we're going to pull it out. Be careful. This is plastic. These are in there kind of tight. Check your O-rings. There's 2 O-rings on this too. Make sure they're in good condition. Change them out if they're bad. But we're going to go ahead and pull that out, show you what it looks like here in a few minutes. All right, so we've got the oil drain on the front plug. It's taken a while. Like I said, it's cold. You should do that normally when it's hot. It drains a little quicker. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and take the wheels off so we can take the rear bumper off. We're going to take the rear bumper off to get access to one of the drains, the finger screen for the transaxle. So the bumper has to be removed to get access to that. So we're going to go ahead and get this done, and then we'll go back to the engine oil. So we're going to go ahead and take this wheel off, and then take this rear inner fender piece out of here to get access to the mounts for the rear bumper. All right. Rear inner fender liner out. It's got a couple attach points here. They're Phillips. They're supposed to be a Phillips screw.
There's a couple hex in there. I think at least one.
There's one here, and then 2 up here. That's it. Go ahead and take this out. And
we're doing this because we're going to remove the rear bumper.
Yeah. So let me grab a 10 here.
I just took the 10 off. This should pretty much come out.
Yeah. Sometimes you kind of got to like push it over a little bit. And then there you are. And then there should be a couple screws. Let me get my light here. Bolts back here. Those 4 back there have to come out on that bracket. And then your side marker light here. So don't forget to disconnect that. And then you've got 2 hard pieces of hardware over here. Those need to come out on this bracket here. There's a plate a lot of times you'll see here that's missing, but that have to come off too. So we're going to go ahead and take those out, and then put the wheel back on, go to the other side, do the same thing. All right, so we've got all the hardware loose here. Those 4 nuts off and washers and that. We've got our harness disconnected here. We've got the 2 bolts over here disconnected. So we're going to go ahead and go on the other side and do the same thing. We're going to put this wheel back on and then raise the car up on the other side. Like I said, do the same thing. So just make sure your bumper doesn't fall off at this point. If you want to, you can leave maybe a bolt here in or nut. But anyway, we're continuing. So we've got our wheel back on temporarily. I just put a couple in there. Like I said, it's going to come back off. So we're not worrying about driving off or anything. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So we're going to jack up underneath here, and then we'll take the wheel off, and yeah, it's behind you, Mark. And then take the inner fender off. We've got all our hardware out, the 2 on the plate here, the 4 in the back, and then your harness here, and then the bumper actually should be ready to move off. Don't forget you have a harness in the rear for your license plate lights. So when you pull it back off, just you have to disconnect that. So this bumper is ready to be pulled off. So we've got the rear bumper removed. We're going back to the draining the oil, the engine oil at this time. We've got the bumper over here. It's sitting right there. So we're going to go ahead and, like I said, continue to drain all this oil, the engine oil and the transaxle oil. So we're going to go ahead and stick this plug back in. We've got a new crush washer on it. And we're going to go ahead and stick that back in, torque it up. All right, we've got the rear drain plug removed. The magnet here should be fairly clean. If you have a lot of buildup, I would investigate. But you may have a little bit of a fuzz. Not a big deal. You're going to have some, but not a lot. So we're going to go ahead and put a new washer on this. Take that one off. We've got a new one. We'll go ahead and stick it on there. Like I said before, there's 2 sides of these, so pay attention. So they should go in there like that, and then these are torqued to 75 Newton meters, or I'll have to figure out what the foot-pounds are, okay? But on this, be careful on this one here. This one here is kind of fragile, so 75 Newton meters may be a little bit too much. The front plug is not so much, but this one here, these like to strip. So I would like, if it starts feeling like it's gonna not hold, I probably wouldn't force it to the actual 75 Newton meters. So that transfers to 55 foot-pounds, okay? So 55 foot-pounds on the front and rear drain plugs, all right? So we're doing 55 foot-pounds. Mark's torquing it up right now.
There it is.
There it is. So 55 on both of those foot-pounds, or 75 Newton meters. All right. You might want an extension, maybe. You want an extension for that?
Yeah, we'll see. That thing's got pretty much on there, I think. Right.
All right, so we've got this one here installed also. Like I said, 55 foot-pounds is a little high on this. I would not probably go that high. You'll strip it out, and then you'll end up changing this whole plate out. And then or you'll lose your oil if you strip that plug. So that's bad news. So front's fine. The rear, I would not go that high. I'd go a little bit less than that. Just make sure it's nice and snug, that it's not going to fall out. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and move on. Normally, we would change the filter on top. We're going to come back and do that later because I don't have it currently. So we're going to go ahead and pull this finger screen out right now. That's 10. Like I said, we're going to pull it out. Be careful when you're pulling it out. They do like to break. All right. So we've got the screen removed for the oil. And I've got some bad news here. He's going to have to get a new one. I don't know what causes, but I've seen this many times. I don't know if it rubs on the case inside internally, but as you can see, it's got a hole right here. All right, so if it's got that hole, it's not doing its job. It's got a little debris on there. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I would say that's pretty normal. It's nothing heavy. The rest of it looks pretty clean. I mean, like I said, it's got a little bit. I mean, this catches everything that's ever been put in your oil. So, I mean, if you've had any kind of engine work, sometimes you'll see gasket material on this. So, like I said, this is not bad. So, it's not, this stuff's non-metallic. All right. So, but yeah, this hole right here, that's not good. So, definitely check these occasionally. You don't have to check this every oil change. But I would do it maybe every other oil change. So we're going to go ahead and recommend the customer get a new one of these. All right. All right. Now that we're kind of, let me see that light there, Mark. That we're kind of on hold with the engine oil. We can't fill it or anything. So we're going to let that drip. We're going to go ahead and move on to the transaxle oil right now. So to drain that, you're going to go to the back here, remove that plug right there. Remove this. And then we're going to go ahead. There's another screen right here to the side here. We're going to take that out, check it out, make sure there's no material on it. Hopefully it's in good condition, no holes in it. Like I said, we're going to check for holes in it too. And then the service port for that is right here. This is your servicing port. Also, this is how you check the quantity for the fluid. You would like take the cap off, just rest it on there, and it should be within the limit when it's serviced properly. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and drain this at this time and continue on. All right, yes, you know what you might want to do before you open that also is take this cap off. It'll let the system bleed out better. So yeah, go ahead and remove that, and I'll let you know what size that is here in a second. All right, so that fitting, the cap there uses a 12 Allen, whatever you want to call it, to remove it. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and break the drain loose at this time. That's a number 12 also, I believe.
I think it's 14.
Oh, 14? Yeah. Probably the same as that back one on the engine.
It is. Yeah, it's 14.
All right. That may have a magnet on it also, I think, if I was to think about it. So we're going to go ahead and take that loose right now. So we're having this fluid drain here. We're going to go ahead and check the plug out here. I think the plug's in here. We're going to take it out, make sure there's nothing on it.
No, there's stuff on it.
I don't think, I mean, it's got a little bit of fuzz. This fluid's pretty dirty, so I don't think this has been changed for quite a while. We'll go ahead and take it in the light and look at it better. All right. It's got a little fuzz going on here. Nothing major, nothing big. You're going to get a little bit, like I said, as the stuff wears, it's going to collect here. So that's normal, I would say. So we're going to go ahead and clean it up, put a new crush washer, and stick it back on. All right, we've got our plug cleaned up here. We've got a new crush washer on there. So this is ready to install. We're just still waiting for the fluid to finish draining. And then once the fluid finishes there, we'll pull out the side screen here. This is a number 8 screw that goes in there. So we'll pull that out next. I could probably pull it out now. We just don't want to make a big mess here. It looks like you can probably gather it in one tray here. So we're going to go ahead and I've loosened it up here. And this is going to be fragile. This is plastic too. So just be careful not to side load it too much. There's a washer there, so don't lose that.
Here, we'll get it.
All right, we're pulling that side screen out. Like I said, you might have to twist it sideways a little bit to expose more of that little ear, but be careful. Like I said, it's plastic, and then kind of take a screwdriver and pop it out. It'd be nice if I showed you on the camera. Here. But yeah,
there's a lot of stuff on it.
We got some. We've got a few things on there. Yeah.
To the top part.
Yeah. So when you're pulling this out, it's going to be down like this. You might want to kick it to the side a little bit once the screw's out, and then take your screwdriver and pop it. Just be careful though, and then just pull it out. All right, and then clean it real good. Make sure there's no holes in it, just like the other one, and reinstall it. Hopefully, check your O-rings. All right. So we've got this screen cleaned up. We're getting ready to install it. We checked our O-ring here. Make sure your O-ring's intact. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall that back in the car. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and stick this back in. Make sure it's seated. before you put the screw in, don't draw it in with the screw. So just make sure it's seated all the way in before you put the screw in and try to draw it down. So you might have to maybe get a little bit of a tap with a soft mallet. It's got a little bit of a friction in there. Make sure it's in all the way. All right, we've got it seated there. Mark's going to give a little bit of a snug here. That's, like I said, that's an 8mm. Don't go too crazy. You have a bit too much torque on that. It's very light. I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy. You'll snap it, but that's good enough. So we got this. We're going to continue to let it drain for a little bit, and then we'll put the other plug in. And that's 75 Newton meters or 55 foot-pounds. Like the oil plug, I wouldn't go that high. I would just go snug enough to where it feels that it's secure and it's not going to move. Because if you go to that 55 foot-pound, I believe you're going to pull the threads out. So that's what the manual says, but I don't think the manual is correct on that, just by my past experience. All right, so we've got our screen back in. That's secured, 8mm. The other ones, the drain plug is back in. It's secure, torqued up. So we're going to go ahead and now we're going to service it from the top. Going to go ahead and service it through your port up here. That's where your dipstick is. So, and then here's your dipstick. And then when you're checking this, you're going to check this by just sitting here. You're not going to screw it in there. You're just going to set it on there and then pull it out. And that's how you check your quantity. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get that ready to get serviced.
Yeah, I would probably do this.
All right. So we're going to go use this full synthetic Valvoline 75W90. It's what it calls out a Shell product, but this is equivalent of it here. The Shell products are hard to get here in the U.S. But according to the manual here, this is from the manual. Here, where were you going there? F1, a gearbox, differential transaxle oil, 7590. All right. So that's what we're going to put in there. Like I said, we're going to use the Valvoline product instead. All right, we've got the fluid going in here. Like I said, 75W90, full synthetic. This one here is about done. You see the fluid dropping here. And like I said, it's going in.
I'll show you. It's a gravity system we are using here. See the tube right there? That's what we're doing. And we're loading up fine.
All right, we're going to check it. We've got 2 in here already. We bought 4 quarts, but we don't know how much actually is in the system because it varies. So we're going to go ahead and check the quantity before we go to the third one, just to make sure we don't over service it. So this one here is about done. You may have to, like, a little air. You might have to pull it off here because it doesn't like to breathe to get the last little bit out of here. But yeah, I mean, you could probably cut a little hole in the top. But as soon as this finished draining, we'll go ahead and check the quantity just to make sure, like I said, we don't over service it. All right, we've checked our level. Like I said, we pulled it out here. And with 2 quarts, it's hard to see, but we're right at the minimum line. So I think we're going to stop right there and visit this back when we get the car up and running, and maybe start the car up and recheck it once it's warm, because we don't want to over service it. It may drop also, but it does have 2 quarts in it right now. But just like I said, we're going to go ahead and wait to service this later on and top it off. So I think today this is probably going to conclude this portion of the video. Like I said, we're waiting on some stuff, and it's kind of holding us down. And so we're going to complete the 4th. This is the 4th day. So we're going to see where we are with our parts that we need and then go from there. So stay tuned for part 5. And thanks for watching.